Connect on social media. Connect on Facebook and Twitter. Connect with iPower One Nation. Stay connected with iPower One.
From the Hard Planet Media Studios in New York, this is iPower 2 This Moment.
Police were searching backyards and vacant homes, trying to find the man that escaped their custody. Well, they found him at an apartment here on Ogden Avenue. 27-year-old Kevin Taylor made his escape before 7 a.m. yesterday at St. Barnabas Hospital. He was in custody on weapons and drug charges and was reportedly at the hospital after he told police he felt sick. Police say he threw something at the officer guarding him, distracting that officer and taking off with one handcuff still on his wrist. He ran and led police on a chase that lasted until around 8:45 last night, over 12 hours after he initially escaped. Police tell us he was found at a friend's house. And Taylor has an extensive record, including 40 prior arrests and a recent stint at a maximum security prison. He now faces his initial charges as well as escape charges. In High Bridge, I'm Gianna Gelosi, News 12, The Bronx.
I'm in shock.
Oh, here we go again.
It's just scary. It's just very scary.
Residents at this Carver Loop complex reacting to the news that Legionnaires' disease is behind the death of one of their elderly neighbors and why 2 others were left hospitalized after the city's health department announced 3 residents were infected in the last 12 months. The 2 most recent cases reported in just the last 60 days.
Something has to. 2015 was the last meeting we had about the same situation. Now it's right here. Now it's right here.
DOH officials say they are investigating 3 Co-op City buildings that share the same water system. Flyers went up in buildings 11A, B, and C Tuesday, telling residents in the 500 units affected their water will be tested.
People are a little leery about what's going on. And from what I've heard, they're going to do some spot checking in various apartments.
People should not take showers during the period that we are investigating the water system in the building.
Instead, residents are being told to take baths as they await test results that will take 2 weeks to come back. Health officials also warn anyone with flu-like symptoms, especially those who are older with pre-existing health issues, to get to a doctor.
Legionnaires' disease is highly treatable, that it's best treated when it's diagnosed early.
A meeting has been scheduled for residents here. That'll be tomorrow at 7:30 in the evening, where they'll be able to come and ask questions directly of Department of Health officials.
Don't shop!
Activists marching and chanting outside the Stop and Shop on Flatbush Avenue, telling customers to find somewhere else to get their groceries. That's after 51-year-old Ralph Nimmons died here 2 weeks ago.
He's a very good guy, very quiet guy, wouldn't hurt a fly, wasn't a violent person, never carried a weapon, and he loved to eat. You know, he was a very, very good-hearted person.
Witnesses say there was an altercation between Nimmons and store employees on April 14th because they believed he was trying to steal food.
The manager, the assistant manager, and another employee, according to witnesses, knocked him down, dragged him on the floor, and then one or more of them were on top of him, and he was saying, I can't breathe, I have a heart condition. By the time they got into Kings County Hospital, he passed away, dead.
In a statement, a Stop and Shop spokesperson tells us, we have cooperated fully with the police and are continuing to do everything we can to aid their investigation. Nimmons' family and their attorney demanding the grocery chain release the surveillance video from the incident.
You're responsible for what your employees do to third parties.
They want to see Stop and Shop, as well as all 3 employees involved, held responsible.
I want justice for what they did. I want them to pay for what they did. You can't take the law into your own hands.
This double murder in New Milford occurred in the pickup truck you see right here behind me. It has been towed here to the police department and tarped as part of this multi-state investigation. It's a case of incest that turned to family tragedy, and it doesn't start or even end here in New Milford.
A 7-month-old child found dead in a home in Knightdale, North Carolina yesterday morning. This 911 call from the mother of suspect Stephen Pladel led police to the scene.
My son just called me, and he told me oh my God, in North Carolina, he killed his baby.
But the call also included information about a double murder 600 miles away in New Milford, Connecticut.
He killed his wife, he killed her father, and I can't even believe this is happening.
Officers in New Milford were already at that crime scene after an eyewitness reported it.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
Hello, this is Connecticut. It's on Route 7 and Route 55. Someone just went by and shot this guy in the truck. The car pulled up, went around him, shot him, whole clip full into his head.
Police identified the victims as 20-year-old Katie Pladel and her adoptive father, 56-year-old Anthony Fusco, both of nearby Wingdale, New York.
It's assumed that maybe they were running an errand in this direction, and that was the first area where the vehicle had to stop or slow, and that resulted in, obviously, an opportunity for contact.
42-year-old Stephen Pladel, named as the shooter, was found dead from an apparent suicide just over the New York border. Pladel was Katie's biological father, with whom she had a son last year. Katie Pladel grew up in New York with her adoptive family and reconnected with her birth parents a couple years ago. She allegedly began a sexual relationship with her biological father and got pregnant. The two were charged with incest earlier this year and had been living in North Carolina. She was back with her adoptive family in New York as part of the terms of her bond.
And still a lot of questions this evening, including about the motive. Police do tell us that Pladel used an assault-style rifle similar to an AR-15 to carry out the murders and kill himself. In New Milford, Marissa Alter, News 12, Connecticut.
Just a heartbreaking story. 3 people killed and 8 others injured and fighting for their lives in the hospital right now. This is the home where the fire started. It's a 2-story home. The damage inside the home appears to be significant. And right now you can see there are firefighters outside. They have been going in and out, starting the investigation portion, trying to figure out what caused this fire to start. More than 100 firefighters responded to the scene earlier this morning, overnight when it started. This is a home here on 211th Street in Queens Village. Rescue crews were able to pull out 11 people who were trapped in the home. They were taken to area hospitals, but some did not survive their injuries. We've learned those who were killed were an 82-year-old woman, an 87-year-old man, and a 32-year-old woman. 3 others are now in critical condition at area hospitals, and 5 more are listed in stable condition, and several of those injured are children, a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old. Those injured, Pat and Gus, their ages range from 6 to 56. And again, out here, the investigation just beginning. Firefighters working to learn what caused the fire, and the names of those who were killed have not yet been released.
I'm Kristen Scholler, and here's some top stories from Cheddar on News 12. Well, Apple is pulling the plug on its wireless routers, which haven't been updated in about 5 years. The company will stop making the routers and work to sell the rest of its inventory. Apple's 3-product line of airport routers lets devices like Macs, iPhones, and iPads connect to Wi-Fi networks with no wire. And The Simpsons are making history again. On Sunday, the show will become the longest-running primetime show on TV. This week's episode will be its 600th. And at 36, passing the previous record held by CBS, Western and Gunsmoke, The Simpsons already holds the record as the longest-running primetime animated show. And there's a new snack coming to baseball dugouts, taco-flavored sunflower seeds. Taco Bell is partnering with seed company Biggs to launch sunflower seeds that taste like a taco supreme. The fast food chain's crunchy taco topped with lettuce, cheese, tomatoes, and sour cream. The seeds are seasoned with tomato powder and sour cream powder as well, and they are available for less than $2 on the Big's website and on Amazon. And that's your Cheddar Business and Tech Update. I'm Kristen Scholler.
I can't move fast as you.
The steps from Pastor Henry Bolden's office up to his church don't get any easier to climb.
Long as I know that you're coming and I'm living, I'm happy.
But I guess that doesn't matter as much when you love your job.
I enjoy this job as long as I can stand on 2 feet. And I've been around a long time.
And you have to love your job a whole lot to be doing it for 69 years.
I buried about 5 generations.
The congregation at Greater Eternal Baptist Church helped Pastor Bolden celebrate his 69th pastoral anniversary Sunday. Some things inside the church have stayed the same since the House of God opened its doors more than a half a century ago. For instance, this name plaque on the pastor's office. Other things have also changed for the 84-year-old.
I don't drive no more.
A Sanford & Son tape on the pastor's desk and several awards on his wall indicative of a long career.
I have had some good times and I've had some bad times.
Perhaps the most difficult challenge Pastor Bolden has had to deal with throughout his career, the loss of a child. One of his daughters recently passed away from cancer.
God ain't gonna change his plans for me.
It's that attitude that has helped Reverend Dr. Bolden work almost 2 decades more than when most people retire.
And that's my message today. Preach the word and tell God, call me home.
On Elton Avenue, Anthony Carlo, News 12 The Bronx.
We have big news. Thanks to you, we have shattered last year's numbers. So far, we have collected enough food to provide 1.7 million meals.
You want to talk about a team effort. NBC4 New York and Telemundo 47 and our Connecticut station. NBC Connecticut and the Telemundo station, they're teaming up with 254 Stop and Shop locations to make a big ask of you to help feed the hungry in the tri-state. And you responded. We're able to do all of this because of you.
That is a sound that many of us take for granted. For too many families in our area, a trip to the supermarket isn't an option. And that's what makes feeding our families so important.
People struggle in silence. Hunger isn't something that you can always see. So it could be a neighbor, it could be a coworker, it could be really anybody that you know in your neighborhood.
If it was my next door neighbor, that would really crush me. It would make me feel, that maybe I'm not aware and I should be aware.
This time of year, donations slow, but demand is high. The holidays are long gone and schools are letting out.
And it's not just food. Many families struggle to afford things like toiletries, paper products, and diapers.
If you're having a hard time putting food on the table, some of life's other basic necessities are also needed.
So we put out the call to help. NBC4 and Telemundo 47 asked you to restock food banks throughout the tri-state. And you answered in a big way.
Just a fantastic day here in Wyckoff, New Jersey.
The donations keep pouring in. Look, our bin is getting full.
Happy to see these donations keep coming in, these boxes filling up here in Long Island City.
We are well on our way to 1 million meals.
Telemundo 47 is really overwhelmed by the generosity here in Long Island.
Some people told us they donated because they say it's just the right thing to do.
I do it every time, no matter who's running it, so it makes me feel better.
For others, this is a teaching moment, an important lesson about giving that's never too early to learn.
So what did you bring?
I donated elbows, because that's one of my favorite pastas.
Oh, me too.
And even for people who dedicate their lives to helping others, a day like this day is special.
It's just tremendous outpouring of support and the energy as a native New Yorker. These are the moments that make you proud when you see New Yorkers taking care of each other and taking care of their neighbors in need.
Now, earlier today, we stopped at the Stop and Shop in Co-op City for a big check presentation there.
Yep, $50,000 presented by Stop and Shop that will be divided among the 8 food banks that we've been dealing with. And we're really exciting up there. there. That excitement we saw at so many Stop and Shops. We're actually now here in Levittown, and we need to thank, Stacey, the 1,000 volunteers that helped us in this effort, working. They're standing by here. People are still coming by and giving, but we really, really need to thank you on behalf of those who are so hungry in the tri-state.
And thank you for joining us today and taking part in this, and thanks to the great folks with Island Harvest here on Long Island and all of the other food banks who helped out to make feeding our families a big success this year.
iPower 1 and iPower Channel 2 is now available on your computer or on your phone. Anywhere you go, log on now to youtube.com. Keyword iPower 1 Nation. Watch all the exclusive interviews and all the shows and news you missed on iPower Channel 2. Watch now at any time, 24/7. iPower 2, part of the tri-state area. Only on our iPower Media Connection. iPower 1.
And weather meteorologist Pat Calvin here with a look at your forecast for the 5 boroughs of New York City. And we're talking about some pretty chilly temperatures as we go through the overnight and into Monday morning. Many of us will bottom out in the lower 40s. We've got a few clouds out there, maybe occasionally a stray shower, although I think most of us will stay dry through the overnight, but that wind is not helping with how it feels. Again, radar not really showing too much, maybe an occasional green blip indicating a quick shower, but as temperatures drop into the low 40s, it's going to feel more like the 30s with that northwest or westerly wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And again, the clouds will stick around even as we get into your Monday. Monday just not looking like a nice day. So for the overnight, partly cloudy skies, chilly, temperatures in the low and mid 40s with that west wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now, as we get into your Monday, this is the last chilly day before we see our warm-up. We'll see more clouds around, maybe a stray shower. Temperatures only struggling to make it into the mid and upper 50s with that west-northwest wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Not a day for the boat, certainly not a day for the beach. Small craft advisory for the ocean. The Sound would be your best bet if you had to go out. And this is the reason why we're seeing cold temperatures through the Northeast. That spiraling mass of rain, even snow through upstate New York, that area of low pressure, is going to kind of keep itself in place as we go through the next 24 hours. And it may throw a few showers in our direction for your Monday. Otherwise, watch what happens. We get into Tuesday, that moves off towards the east. We see sunshine, and the heat is on. 77 for Tuesday, 85 Wednesday. We get close to 90 in some spots for Thursday and Friday. We stay warm right through next weekend.